So my name is Tiffany Chow, and my honors contract is with World Cultures. And for this contract, I did an exploration of traditional medicine. So what I did was read 6 articles from different countries, and I had a research question in mind, which was, why do people use traditional medicine rather than modern medicine? Well, first off, what is traditional medicine? We can call this as folk medicine, and it basically came before modern medicine. It's the use of home remedies and medicinal plants. Your friends and family are used for support and information, and this passed down through generations, either through oral or written words. So the first place I visited was the Ozarks. It's located in the states of Missouri and Arkansas. The author were concerned with the accessibility of rural population to modern health services. And through their research, they found out that there's 3 subcategories of people who knew about medicinal plants. So we have the granny women, who were elderly women that normally care for the newborns. We have root diggers, who were young males that extracted plants and used them for commercial sale. These guys actually did not know a lot about medicinal plants. And then we have the yarb doctors, who actually did know stuff about the medicinal plants and basically treat patients. So the author coined the term delocalization, which basically meant that the communities further away from modern society used more medicinal plants as treatments. They also found a trend that the older population knew more about the medicinal plants than the younger population. As a conclusion, they state that this knowledge of medicinal plants should be used as a standby technology for the future in case of modern technology fails. All right, the next place that I went to was Borda, Amazonas State in Brazil. It's the highlighted region in that map. Here, they lacked of medical assistance and modern technology. What's interesting about Borda is they use magic plants, which is for farming, hunting, fishing, art, witchcraft, healing, and religious contexts. Something to note in the article, the author said that people seemed uncomfortable or shy during interviews when they talked about magic. What we see in Borda is that more females had more knowledge than males. This is because that more females take care of the children and their illnesses. What's very important about the magic plants is that they're not only for healing purposes, but for their meaning. So there's many different kinds of plants. Some of them have the ability to attract money, prevent spousal infidelity, and ward off thieves or unwanted guests. For example, the Piraroxo was a symbolic weapon to ward off the evil eye, which is also known as Moro Oharu or Oro Gordo. All right, in South Africa, here the people believe that diseases were a supernatural phenomenon. In South Africa, they have modern doctors and traditional healers. So the traditional healers, we have the Inyengas, which were made up of 90% males who were herbalists. We have the Nsangomas, which were 90% females who were diviners that can determine the cause of illness by ancestral spirits. We have the Umfundanzi, which were basically your doctors that heal patients either by prayer, holy water, ash, or touching. They were professed as Christians and belonged to one of the South African independent churches. And we have birth attendants, who are just elderly women, well respected in society. So here in South Africa, patients have the ability to seek a modern doctor or traditional healer. Most likely, they will go see a traditional healer because there's no fee. However, gifts are normally accepted. If they do see a traditional healer, it sometimes delay the diagnosis and treatment, and also what they use might interfere with modern treatment. So the author described that there should be a way for traditional healers and modern doctors to work together, just to promote better health, and also for the traditional healers to get rid of the fake healers. All right, in northern and central Vietnam, the people here have recently lost a lot of biodiversity and experienced poverty in rural parts. It's a very hard time. They have a very hard time maintaining their life with industrial regions. In this article, it was more around the elders of northern and central Vietnam of different communities. They are trying to conserve the biodiversity. However, it is hard because the younger population have shifted their views of knowing medicinal knowledge. Something to point out, the elders in this article advised that the author did not publish any uses of individual plants because they were afraid that neighboring traders like the Qin or the Chinese might learn about the potential market use and will extract the plant and it'll become a rare species in the ecosystem. So because of this, trust and secrets, elders have to trust their families to pass the information down. They don't want to share with anybody. And when you go see one, they'll usually just have a jar of something in it with no labels or no nothing, so nobody in the community or outside know what's in the jar. All right. In southern Himalaya regions of Pakistan, we're actually looking around here. Here they use the traditional Unami medicine. For many generations, they have used their surroundings for food, health, medication, and cultural purposes. The people around here believe and had faith that these medical and herbal medicine. We see another trend that women had more knowledge than men, and just recently they started to become more like leaders in teaching men about these medicinal plants. The goal of the women in the regions of Pakistan was to conserve their knowledge and on medicinal plants for future generations. However, we see that modern technology and the rate of harvest exceeded the rate of regrowth, preventing from reaching their goals. Another goal for the women was to make it a local natural history as a living tradition in communities. And the author pointed out that this could be used for future pharmacological studies. All right, the last place that I went to was Iberian Peninsula, which is basically Spain. Here we see a lot of mountain ranges and different parts, different cultural and linguistic heritage. However, despite their differences, they still have similar medicinal knowledge. Here we can also see that professional medical care was not accessible and it's too expensive. So many households had traditional plants as first aid kits, and this is where local healers are very important in these communities. Something to note, most people think that traditional plants are really safe and easy to use. However, there is some risk to it, which may increase your health risk. For example, the Agumifera was actually, it's actually a fatal poisoning, so you can actually die from it if you didn't know what that was. As a conclusion, the author note that modern health professionals should adapt to traditional medicine as well. And during exams with the patients, the modern health professional should ask more in-depth detail if they have ever used traditional medicine. And it's also important to document the remaining knowledge of these plants for future references, as many parts are still using this today. So why do people use traditional medicine rather than modern medicine? We see that distance plays a big role. The further away you are from modern society, the more medicinal plants you use as treatment. We see that it's much cheaper because most people live in farms or have their own gardens. Many use it as for future generations as a standby technology or just for future medicine studies. Like we saw in Borda with the magic plants, they're used in religious contexts and more for their meaning. Keeping biodiversity is a big key for those in Vietnam. And then they would like to continue their knowledge from generation to generation. And why do people still use traditional medicine? It's just to find a balance between the two medicines. And that's it. Thank you.